The game might be over, but we're just getting started. Welcome to the Todd Fox Postgame Podcast, your go-to spot for real, unfiltered Angels talk, win or lose, on the Halos in the Infield Network. You never know what's going to happen. Walk-offs, meltdowns, heroics, or straight-up typical Angels disasters. We're breaking it all down. Who stepped up and took home the Golden Stamos, the most prestigious award in baseball? And who embarrassed themselves so badly they're stuck with the dreaded Nacho Night Award? Drop your comments, call in, and sound off. We're reading them all. So like, share, subscribe, and buckle up, because this show pulls no punches. And yes, Anthony Rendon is still a fragile little bitch. Take it away, Todd.
I'm a fox. My name's Todd.
Yo, 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 what's up? I should say, hey, it's better late than never. It's Todd Fox on the Heady Postgame Podcast Network as we're doing a postgame for your Angels on the only network that gives it to you each and every day, no matter what. We will have a postgame show, and we also have podcasts, so like and subscribe. Hit that thumbs up. I know a lot of people aren't engaged right now. They're going about their day, and that's fine, because the Angels played a long time ago, and they're probably trying to wash the stain off of what happened in St. Louis, as obviously this could have been a nice way to end the, road trip. Whereas, we talked about as Angel fans going into this season, it would be nice to get off to a good start, especially with who we're playing. The St. Louis Cardinals don't have much expectations. The White Sox are the White Sox, and you figure, okay, coming home 4-2 like we did last year would be very nice, and you could take something out of it, especially with the new players, and if they're playing better, then it's something to hold your tip your cap to or be happy about, right? The problem is, though, I feel a little dirty with this series. Like, I feel good about it because you could take the positives out of it with a Kyron Paris, and you could take the positives out of it with the pitching over their head, and you could take the positive out of it with them coming back and being resilient, doing things they didn't do last year. Hitting with runners in scoring position has gotten better over the last series, and you're thinking, okay, take it day by day. We talked about on here the other day too. Hey, just go 1-0 today. 1-0 today. Mark it down on your calendar. Don't worry about trying to see what we do throughout the entire series. As long as we go 1-0 today, we show fight, right? And as Angel fans, too, we were looking at it as, well, maybe the Angels can play above their heads. We want them to be, even if the most honkest of honks won't come out there and say, unless you're Roger Lodge, that basically the Angels are going to the playoffs, which we all know they're pretty much not, unless something lightning catches in a bottle and they're able to do that. But when you think about the positives of the first week of the season on this road trip, you're thinking of all the things that this team wasn't. And you're hoping that, as a fan, I was doing the same thing. Can the Angels just show fight? Because a lot of times they get punched in the throat last year, they get kicked in the shin, and they immediately fall over and play dead. They never responded. They weren't in most of the games last year. The pitching, tried its best, but ultimately failed. So we were hoping as a fan base that we would get into more of these games that they played in the first 6 games outside of opening day. They played pretty competitive, and that's all we've asked for as a fan is that, hey, can this team play in these games? Can they withstand some of the body blows and come up and play big late in games? Can they rally? Can they pitch good? And from the most part, they really have in the first 7 games, including today. For the first, I would say, 8 innings, they were playing above their head and playing pretty good. Now, the problem I have with this team as far as where they're at and what happened in today's game, as we'll recap and talk about here, is the fact that this one can be chalked up to the manager. Now, a lot of times we don't like going on here. We'll slam the players at times. We'll slam the managers or the organization. But it's a new year, new me type thing, right? We're testing out how the team's going to play. I've been taught from a youngster in playing baseball all the way through to where I am now is that if you got a hot hand, you ride it, right? Like unfortunately, I don't think the Angels are good gamblers because they're not sticking with a hot hand, and that's Kyron Paris. Now, some people could say, he could be a flash in the pan, like he's just off to a good start. He could fall apart later and play like last year's Kyron Paris. But I disagree because he's changed his approach. He's changed his everything. His mindset, he's just in a better spot. He's ready to play. You should be finding spots and making spots for him in the lineup. He should not be resting 1 or 2 games here back to back. Now, I don't know if that's analytics. I don't know if that's Ron Washington, but whoever's in charge is failing because, again, we've seen this organization do this on several other occasions to other young kids. They messed with Joe Adell and in his past, and that's why I think the regression has happened time in, time out with Joe Adell because he never got that opportunity up until last year to be the man, and he wasn't ready still. Kyron Paris looks ready to me. The problem is we've got a lot of these one-year contracts or these guys who have no options like Lopez and Newman and Moncada, and you can't just send those guys down for Kyron Paris. You've stacked your own lineup against a dude like this who can produce. Now, I'm not saying this is the reason why we lost today. No, I think that goes upon forget not putting Kyron Paris in the lineup. You had a nice grand slam there. Now, obviously, we're going to get into the game here. We're going to talk about what happened and why it happened. But you had opportunities in this game. You also had a stretch of 4 innings where the Angels did absolutely jack shit. And that was because Sonny Gray has a lot of experience against the Angels, and he knows how to shut them down, and he did a really good job for the most part. The thing was, though, in this game, you kind of hope that the Angels would have been fighting a little bit harder. Now, they take a loss. They struck out 11 times. They were 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position. The only, hit was O'Hoppe. Let's go through the scorecard, shall we? The winning pitcher was Romero in relief, and Ian Anderson takes the loss, and believe me, we'll get to him. But what happened in this game, Taylor Ward led off, went 1 for 4 in the game. Really not much of a factor in this game up until that rally in the 7th inning. But you had Renifo go 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts. That wasn't good. Mike Trout had the solo blast and a strikeout. You also had Jorge Soler get a hit and a strikeout. Moncada went 1 for 3, but he had 2 strikeouts. Shawnoel went 1 for 3, but he had a strikeout. O'Hoppe went 1 for 4 and had a grand slam. You had Adell go 0 for 4 and 2 strikeouts. Nick Lopez go 0 for 4 and a strikeout. We talked about it last year. We'll talk about it again this year. If you are struggling as a baseball team and you have a guy like Nick Lopez, who is, again, not really married to this team, so to speak, and you've had guys who, again, when this team loses, you have a couple to 5 or 6 guys at times. When the offense is struggling, they are not putting up any kind of hits, walks. They're not getting on base, and the Angels did not do that. They had 3 players literally go 0 for, and that's 0 for 12 big outs in 27 outs. No production from 3 players. That's going to hurt the team. So the St. Louis, I know their numbers are inflated by the end of the game, but they had 12 runs, 12 hits. They out-hit you. The Angels had 5 runs and 6 hits. They were pretty much even until late in the game. And there was one reason for that, and that's what sucks. Again, as I go through the numbers, we're going to get into the awards. We're going to talk about my thinking and how the way the game went. But you had Kikuchi go 6 innings, 3 runs, 4 hits, 5 walks, 6 strikeouts, 2 home runs, 104 pitches. Wasn't his best outing. Now, I heard another post game that sucks literally say that Kikuchi's our ace and he's disappointed in the way he's pitching. He's disappointed in the way he's pitching as an ace. Listen, you're asking a number 3 at best to be an ace. He is nowhere close to being an ace. He's an ace in theory because there's no one else that you put in that number 1 spot. Don't tell me you expect ace stuff from a guy who's not an ace. This is the kind of performance you expect from a Kikuchi. Now, are the walks up in this game? Yes. But for the most part, how he pitched against the White Sox, how he pitched against the Cardinals is what you're to expect. He's not going to give up 5 to 6 runs on most nights. It's going to be 4 or less. And if that's what it is, then that's what it is. The offense had plenty of time to come back. He gave you literally, outside of those walks, a quality start. He gave you 5 or less runs, which he gave you only 3, and you're in the game. He only made 2 mistakes to 1 guy. So you can't sit there and tell me, oh, he sucked. I expected more out. No, you got exactly what you got out of a number 3 at a number 1 to be asked to do a number 1 spot. Now, what troubles me early, the analytics have always troubled me since this team adopted it. It really has. And what I mean by that is, after Trout homered to make it 1-0, Herrera homered off of Kikuchi. He homered again in the 6th to make it 3-1. The Angels got the bases loaded, nobody out. A Hoppy comes up there and proceeds to go to right center field, hitting a grand slam, which should put the Angels in the driver's seat. Now, the game's not over. By no stretch of the imagination, you still had 9 outs to get after that. I get that. Okay, I get that. But what you had was, in a game, we were told, and here's my problem with Ron Washington and the brass upstairs, the nerds, calling exactly the Angels and telling them what to do. Ian Anderson was recouped in a trade with the Atlanta Braves for Jose Suarez. Jose Suarez was a terrible pitcher here. We traded basically garbage for garbage. And I hate saying that about the new guy, Ian Anderson, but hey, he hasn't proved himself in a couple years. He hasn't been in a meaningful game, mind you, since 2022. He had a ballooned ERA of 6 and over last year, correct? Why is he coming into a situation where the game is 2 runs or less? Because our bullpen is taxed. So let me get this straight. 6 games into a season, you're already claiming that they're tired. We heard this stupid bullshit last year about how we need to conserve the arms and these guys are tired and blah, 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 blah. All that concern about them being tired and resting them, no back-to-backs. Where did that get the Angels last year? Several injuries on the pitching side of things. So your way of doing things is clearly not working. If it's not broke, why fix it? Many teams have stretched their guys out. We heard today before the game, during the game, I should say, Gooby said that Zephyr John talked his way into the game because they did not want to pitch him, because they were worried he was going to pitch 3 games in a row when he only threw 2 pitches in one of those games. That's how pansy our organization is when it comes to treating our pitchers. That's how you get them hurt, is not using them enough. So these bullpen guys are taught from, if you're a bullpen guy from high school on, you're pitching every day if you have to, or maybe 3 out of 5. It just works that way. Yet somehow in the most prestigious league in the world, we have to baby our pitchers. And that hurt us today because you go to Ian Anderson, who, mind you, the night before got lucky by getting out of the inning that he did star in without giving up a run. And I said that last night, hey, you're playing with fire. That's cool that he did that, but I don't like him in that spot. You bring Ian Anderson in just like you would Suarez when you're either up 6 or down 6. Instead, they bring him in a high tense situation. I didn't agree with the rookie Johnson either, but it seemed to work out. So what do I know, right? Well, look what happens today. There's several other pitchers you could have went to. Yet you don't trust your best pitchers when you have a chance to get a sweep. A team that hasn't been over 500 after April in 4 or 5 years, and you can't push the envelope and try to get your closer in there, try to get your setup guy in there, try to get competent pitchers to then make a play to save the game. Instead, what do? What do? You put Ian Anderson in there. And after he gets very, very lucky, because, again, he's got a 6 ERA for a reason. He can't locate his pitches all that great. He got ahead of 3 of the, 6 hitters, but he couldn't finish them off, a problem that frustrated Angel fans last year with other pitchers. But he came out there, left them up, left cookies, got hit around, was very lucky to get out of that with only giving up 2 runs. And they kept it at 5-5, right? Why is Ian Anderson coming out for the 8th? That makes zero sense. So again, you're sitting there saying, oh, I don't want to use another pitcher because, what happens if you need a closer at that time? Are you going to say the same thing? We already pitched our pitchers. We can't pitch them again. I mean, basically, Jansen barely threw a couple pitches the other night and even 15 pitches for Joyce. So it's not like he threw 30 pitches and these guys are taxed. None of these guys are taxed. Misuse of the bullpen for the second game. Second time in 6 games, Ron Washington is fucked with a bullpen. Because either they believe the analytics or Ron Washington is pulling all the wrong levers in these 2 games. There's no excuse for bringing Ian Anderson out there. Why was not Reed Detmers brought out? If you really want to boost the dude's confidence, give it to Reed. Give the ball to Reed. Let him try to handle things. Let him try to shut things down and keep the game tied. No, you bring Ian Anderson in there. He proceeds to load the bases. You bring Brock in a terrible situation. You're asking another unproven guy to go in there, just walk in there like it's nothing and get out of a bases loaded jam. Were you not surprised that happened? And then to top it off, just for fuck's sake, after Burke and Anderson just doused the already burning brush fire with extra gasoline, Reed Detmers comes in there with a third of an inning and just throws 4 pitches and gets out of it like it's nothing. After Herrera and the Cardinals basically embarrassed you in a game that you were 9 outs away from winning, had you gone to the formula. And here's the thing that blows my mind. This was not a night game after playing 8 or 9 games in a row where you have to travel and this and that. And I can get it why you want to give guys a day off because they've been working so hard. You literally have a day off tomorrow. They're probably already landed by now here in California. They've already landed here. Unless they couldn't get out of St. Louis with the bad weather, they're already here. So you have a day off. To me, I'm going for the jugular. To me, I'm stepping on the neck. I want this save. I want this sweep. You had the sweep in your hands, and you chose not to win the game. You chose to treat it like a useless exhibition game. I'm sorry, fellas, guys and gals out there. I'm sorry, but this team, this franchise has not earned the right to give a game away. What have you done as a franchise? I could see if they were the Dodgers from last year and won a World Series, then yeah, if you want to take a game off, even a series, then fuck it. You've earned it. What have the Angels earned? If anything, they should be biting, scratching, kicking, and clawing to win every goddamn game possible to try to win back the fan base it has shitted on for the last 5 years or longer. And I'm being truthful. They owe us. They have run up a tab on us that is really hard to pay, but it's really easy. I just contradicted myself, but it's really easy if you do one thing. You win, baby. Like Al Davis said, you just win, baby. I don't care how you do it. I don't care if you do it with Kyron Paris. I don't care if you do it with Joe Adell. I don't care if you do it with Mike Trout. I don't care if you bring back Albert Pujols. If those guys help you win, then just win and do it right. Do it for the fans. Show that you care. Show that you know what you're doing. Forget the guy upstairs that's pulling the strings on everything. If this team can win despite him, all the more better. Because this fan base loves its baseball. This fan base is hardcore. This fan base will stick up for it. But you got to win. You got to give us something. Not Millennium Falcons on the goddamn Angels A. That's not always going to do it. Christmas in June is not going to do it. We want to win. It's been a while. We're not asking to go to the playoffs, but show some improvement. And again, you were in this game. You were doing exactly what Angel fans wanted. The record amount of honks on our post-game show last night was crazy. Everyone honking their honk and that's just going 4-1. That's just going 4-1 in a 5-game stretch. That's how much this franchise's fan base is starving for victories. and you just took one away from us. That one was well-deserved by the team, and you took it away because you did not play the game the right way. You did not. Ron Washington literally did not play the game right, and it cost us. Straight up. Try to convince me different, because I don't see it. I don't see it at all. Because like Herm Edwards said,
hello, you play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
Apparently we played to just play it after the 8th inning. That was a letdown. That was a huge pick-me-up for a guy like Logan O'Hoppe, who could have been the star of the game, but no. So guess what? We got Buttercupped, and we have a new video for it. We got those in just in time.
Why do you build me up, Buttercup, baby, just to let me down, mess me around, and then worst of all, you never call baby when you say you will. I love you still, I need you more than anyone, darling. You know that I have from the start. So build me up, Buttercup, don't break my heart.
We were absolutely buttercupped by that bullpen tonight. That's what we play when the bullpen blows it, unfortunately. We don't play the losing slide for that. Let's give out the awards, shall we? Because this will be a shorter show than the usual because obviously we're playing this a long time. See, I work, so I can't be in my grandma's basement doing this. So we have to, do it when we can, and I appreciate those that are on. It's not the numbers that we had last night, man. We had some sick-ass numbers. I loved it. But here we go, the Stamos Award for Best Player on the Field. The John Stamos Award for Best Player on the Field, you have to give it to Herrera. I mean, 3 home runs, 6 RBIs. He was easily the player of the game. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that dude single-handedly destroyed us thanks to the awesome pitching, especially late in the game. Kikuchi, again, 3 runs allowed, and all to Herrera. You could have won if the bullpen was anywhere close. And even if they lose that game 6-5, 7-5, you still have a chance late in the game to do something to tie it up to whatever. It's fine. I'm fine with that because they're competing. They're able to compete. They're not rolling over and dying. This today was just throwing in the towel, not giving 2 shits because you threw your worst pitchers out there. You might as well kept Suarez if you were going to do that. Nacho Night, let's see who gets it.
Nacho Night, oh yeah, Nacho Night. Pile it up, load it high. Extra shame, hold the pride. Grab a fork, take a dive. Dignity's gone, but the cheese survived. Moldy cheese, stale chips, what a sight. All your dreams gone tonight. Had a bad night, lost the fight. No more crunch, just take a bite. It's the Nacho Night Award.
The Nacho Night usually goes to a player, but we're going to give it to a skipper. We're going to give it to Ron Washington. Look, I like the guy. I like what he's done with the defense. I want to say he's the blame all the way, but I know analytics played a part in this. And you could say, well, he has a lot of unproven arms, but he also has some arms that are proven. And you could have went to those at any point, and he chose not to. Again, you're choosing to baby and coddle these guys with a full day of rest tomorrow. There's no excuse for this. This was all on Ron Washington from the lineup card all the way till then. I don't get why you don't play the hottest guy on the team. A spark plug. I don't get the fact that you're in a close game. Again, if the Angels are losing 12-5 in the 7th inning and you want to go to Ian Anderson, if you want to go to Brock and all these other guys, knock yourself out. But you have arms. You could have at least, if you say, oh, I don't want to use Joyce, I don't want to use Jansen. Well, you have other pitchers there. You have Reed Detmers. What is there not to understand about that? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. So we don't have too many people on, so it's not going to be too crazy tonight. So we will get through the comments. And first off, Emilio checks in with, it's Spritz o'clock.
Spritz o'clock, Angels play. Win or lose, we toast today. Sip and cheer, no matter score. Spritz o'clock, let's pour some more. Spritz o'clock, let's pour some more. Spritz o'clock, let's pour some more.
Well, there you have it. Spritz o'clock. Have a botanical spritz on us. Let's talk about it here. Robert checks in with, Wash got to be better in the moment. Was too big for Anderson, especially the second inning he pitched. Sebastian says, horrible bullpen management by Wash. Dan Rio says, Burke sucks. And yes, the bullpen was mismanaged. Tyler says, dude, Burke, shake my head. Exactly. Jesus says, is this the moment where everything corrects itself like last season? Lack of scoring. The losses are coming. Len, let's just be prepared. Like I said, Jesus, one game at a time. Let's try to go 1-0 on Friday against Ohio shitfucks. Maybe it works out. Halo Joe says, oh, Ronnie Washington is snowblind again. Get him to rehab. Also right there, Daniel says, Snell, trash. Caesar says, those two young pitchers suck. Go out there and sign Brent Honeywell. He is sitting right there. Silent E says, Kikuchi with another quality start. The bullpen came in and unraveled a little bit today, but that's bound to happen every now and then, especially with the unproven pitchers that you have. You're going to take these lumps. Can the offense keep it going? Can the offense keep making up for it? That's the big question. Robert said, Todd, as a former player, as a hitter, how much does this mess with your mind when you're producing at the plate but don't get the opportunity at the plate? Well, let me tell you this, Robert. When I played, especially when I was in high school and I was doing my damage, that never happened. Because when I got hot, I stayed on the field. My coach we had a better look. I started as an infielder, but it was clear I was better in the outfield because I was fast. And they found a spot for me. He's like, hey, you're still fast. Can you snag some outfielder balls? They taught me how to take angles and stuff like that because I had a hot bat. So, again, they'll find a spot. It's not like Kyron Paris is a DH, or a first baseman only. Homeboy can play like 6 different positions if he wanted to, and yet we can't get him on the field. That is frustrating, Robert. Well, we're going to lose again, but the way we lost sucked. It did. And again, if we lose 7-5, I'm cool with that. If we lose 6-5, going down with our best arms, I'm cool with that because that's the law of averages. That's how the game is played out. I'm fine with that. When you piss one away in the fashion that they did, that's when it pisses me off. Cards taught the Halos a lesson in small ball. Hope we took notes. Andrew says, is Wash managing to get fired? Some of his decisions in these first 2 series. And again, that's the whole conundrum with this whole thing. The whole thing that messes with my head more than anything, Robert, and everybody else, is the fact that they did what we want them to do, which is what we preached on this network forever. Just win the series. Just win the series. The law of averages will carry you into the playoffs. And I'm not saying we're going to make the playoffs, but you want to win your series, and they did that. But when you have a chance to sweep, you're kind of stuck in between like, damn, we won the series, but we still lost the battle. Jason Hess says, Cardinals played exactly how the Angels should play every day. Small ball stealing, clutch hitting. Halo Joe says, before the game started, Ronnie Washington caught snorting in the left field foul pole. Mario says, we got some guys on base, but unproductive at bats. The runner to get him over, scratch out a run, wasted opportunities, just like the last 10 years. Cue freaking Lombardi, and I can't blame him for calling it out.
What the hell's going
Also, Jason Hess says we got to start playing Angels baseball, small ball, hitting with the runners in scoring positions, running from first to third. We got to learn to win in some other ways. Exactly. Jason also says the Cards just straight out best us in every single way today. Also, the Halos have a day off tomorrow. Why would everyone not be available? Q Herm Edwards, and I brought it up earlier, and you guys are just following it up perfectly because, again, Angels had every opportunity to win this game, and especially with a day off.
Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
James Malou checks in with balls, and Logan O'Hoppe because O'Hoppe should have been player of the game. Even if the Angels lose this game 7-6, he should have been player of the game.
For you to check out what I want. I want balls and John Stamos.
Logan O'Hoppe. Also, James Malou says the bullpen is back. Q, oh shit, here we go again. Because again,
oh shit, here we go again.
Steve Lees checks in with, I haven't been this pissed off in years. I had to hear her rant, and she had some very good points. Horrible game management. James Malou says bullpen was totally taxed today, though. Grillmaster says Jethro Tull, Ian Anderson should visit Cross-Eyed Mary for help. Oh, God, here we go again. Jason says, also after the O'Hoppe Grand Slam, I literally said it's not going to be enough. We are going to try to come back against better teams, and it's not going to go well. And I believe that too, because again, some of these guys are swinging for the fences, got lucky the other nights. And when we're going for hits, trying to rope them to the gaps, that's better at bats. Like Shonowell had that gapper today. They need more at bats like that. They need more Louis Renifo at bats from the other day when he went to left field. Go the opposite way. Good things will happen. You get those pitches later on to then pull. Tyler says, I feel like every time O'Hoppe gets dope ass clutch grand slams, the freaking Angels lose and blow chunks. Mario said, did analytics place tariffs on the bullpen? Get your shit together. Yeah, this bullpen needs to get its shit together, but the managing of the bullpen needs to get its shit together more than anything.
Well, then get your shit together. Get it all together and put it in a backpack. All your shit, so it's together. And if you got to take it somewhere, you know? Take it to the shit store and sell it. Or put it in a shit museum. I don't care what you do. You just got to get it together. Get your shit together.
Exactly. Tyler says also Halo's making Herrera look like Aaron Judge. John Frisch checks in with, yes, I finally catch a post game. Been a long time since I could. Also, James Malou says, O'Hoppe makes me happy. Rye Guy says, we have a day off tomorrow. Joyce and Jansen, hello, you play to win the game. Balls, and Buttercupped again. Also, you have Grillmaster saying, what is it? The guys in the eighth inning, Q Lombardi. What were those guys? Every game counts. Games like this are the reason why we have the record in September, the shit record. Exactly, because you got to win early. Welcome to the Locked On Post Game, Tyler says. Jason also says, where are the honkers from last night? We are not that team. I'm with Todd. Baby steps. Let's hope that for the better than last year. With us young folk that remember 2002, got to see the joy in the team. And again, that was a team that when you see the 2002 team, you built towards something in 01 and 2000. It didn't just come overnight. Also, you have Mario saying we buttercupped ourselves, which makes it worse. Q Lombardi. And yes, we did buttercup ourselves. I think we played into everything St. Louis wanted us to do, and we wholeheartedly said, here you go. What the hell's going on out here? Also, Ron equals a full analytics tonight. Dan says the buttercup works, but the Stukas doesn't. Shake my head. I hope that's not an omen. Well, we actually do have that ready to go. Also, but they lost. I was going to go crazy at work with the O'Hoppe Grand Slam, but all of a sudden I heard my work played Buttercup, and that's how the game went. Fuck! Sapphire says, why don't we play Reed Detmers to get 2 innings more? Like every day, he's young and down, up and down. The same thing with Ben Joyce. That's the problem. You can't get any of these guys into a rhythm if you keep yanking them. Same here right now. Talking about at Rally Chris, Mario says, also Nacho Knight needs to go to wash. It did. Dan says he's going to have another stroke. Sapphire says, I wonder how pissed off Trout is with some of the teams for this management. Balls in my mouth. Patrick Carrillo, he makes his 2025 start.
Time for you to check out what I want. I want balls and John Stamos.
Balls in his mouth. Also, you have 714 tickets. 714 tickets. Quick, everybody, look up and click the like for Todd. Also, Marty says, no pair starting. We were screwed. Robert says, how many times were the pitchers taught to throw strikes when players turn to bunt? Don't fall behind 2-0, 3-1, then throw the ball down the middle. Have to compete. Exactly. And the thing is with that, you put yourself in such a bad situation already being down, knowing the situation was going to be a walk. That's why those type of pitchers should not be in there at all. Marty says, blame Wash and Farkas. Also, Marty says, I need a bunch of Terry Smith jokes to get me over the effort today. Actually, we're going to do a short show. So, again, we don't have anywhere close to people that we had on last night, which I thank everybody on here for right now. But yeah, this is way after the game, so I don't blame anybody. LB says, oh, no, we suck again. So we'll play that real quick.
Oh, no! We suck again!
Are you going to the game on opening night on Friday? Yes, I will be there, and I will be there. So if you guys want to come by and say hi, I will be there. A lot of us will be there. So will Rob. Ron Washington is pulling pitches out like the Dodgers choking in the playoffs when Dave Roberts would pull his pitchers early. Laugh my ass off. Robert says, I need a beer from Brewheim. Also, everyone head over to Underdog app to bet on how many Deos for the home opener. And, yeah, there's going to be a ton of these. Also, what section? I'm going to be in 105. Patrick, I should be somewhere down below at least 260, but I might be closer to the field. I'll let you guys know by the red carpet. Also, who let Farkas out of Marcia's basement? Everybody, the season starts tonight. Yeah, don't worry about everything. Everything is good.
We got a lot of baseball left to be played, and the season starts tonight.
So with that being said, we're going to recap everything that went on real quick. And that is, we'll get to the sponsors another day because, hey, it's a short show. And dinner's calling me. But the Angels lose 12-5, and this game was really close at one point. It was 5-3. Or it was 5-3 at the top of the seventh, or at the end of the top of the seventh, and it was even tied at 5 after 7. But then the Angels gave a real crooked touchdown to the St. Louis Cardinals, and they put this game away 12-5, thanks to some stellar pitching and some stellar decision making by Ron. I was snorting something, Washington. I'm sorry, but we did win 2 series in a row, so let's get back to it. So with that being said, everyone have a good rest of your night. We'll be back here on Friday a little late after the game because I will be at the game. So about 15, 20 minutes maybe, or maybe a little bit more, like 30 minutes after the game, we'll jump on and recap the opening day game with you as the Halos in the Infield likes to do on a nightly basis. So with that being said, everybody have a good rest of your night. I'm going to go get some chow. Angels lose 12-5. Let's get back at the Ohio shit fucks on Friday.